conditions in order to make sure you put that puzzle together. You know how you have a jigsaw puzzle with, you look at the box and there's a picture of the puzzle that you're going to put together? A director has to be able to do that without looking at the picture. It's just all in your head of how you're going to move the pieces around. And it's quite challenging, but a lot of fun. I look forward to going back and forth between directing and acting.
Hello, Bryan. I know it wasn't exactly the subject of this particular movie, but do you think that people as actors, artists in general, actually do have real power over the political field, and should they be given this power, and how do you think they should use it?
I think the one responsibility that an artist has is to be true to yourself, and present, when you're working, to present your art form as honestly as possible. It doesn't mean that you need to become a mentor or a role model, or that you need to take steps into trying to influence people politically or anything. There's not that requirement. I don't think that's fair upon someone. It is in many societies acceptable and encouraged for those who are in the public eye to be able to present themselves and their opinions on things, and I think that's fair. It is also the case that someone who has some fame gets more attention in their opinions than someone who doesn't. I don't know if that's fair or not, but as long as you're in that position, I think that the best thing that anyone who has been very fortunate into making a living and having a measure of fame that secures your livelihood, I think is charity more than political. I think it's time to then give back to a community or to an environment, a cause that is important to you. And so that's where I choose to focus my attention mostly, is to take some of this attention that's coming my way and focusing it on issues that is for the greater good.
Thank you.
Hi. You told us that you met Dalton Trumbo's daughters, so I wanted to know, how do you think the relationship with his daughters impacted him, and if they liked the movies?
Yeah, that's a little nerve-wracking, because you're going to play a character who they know very well from their own history, and they're trepidatious about it, and you're anxious about doing that. And I told the women who have become friends that I have no intention of doing an impersonation of your father, and but I would appreciate your help so that I can present a sensibility of him that is honest and that you remember. And by making myself open and vulnerable to that, and confessing that I needed their help, they were willing to help, and help tremendously, not just for me in helping to structure the character, but also in the script itself, and giving notes on certain aspects of the script that they thought were either not in the timeline that we were presenting it, or were not exactly accurate, and so we made adjustments along the way. It was very helpful, and but that must be, you know, daunting for someone to see on the big screen your life before you, and you see your parents being depicted by two actors, and it must be difficult to get over that sensation. But they were very kind and very helpful.
Hi. My question will seem a little bit silly after that, but as a fan of Breaking Bad, I was wondering if you see Better Call Saul, and if you did see it, what would you think about the show?
Would you repeat that again, please?
Did you have the time to see Better Call Saul, the new show, the new Vince Gilligan show? And if you did, what do you think about it? Okay.
I can hear you better now. Yes, I have seen Better Call Saul, and I really enjoy it. For me, watching it, there is a familiarity to seeing the city of Albuquerque and the surroundings, some characters that, of course, are familiar from Breaking Bad, and a tonal experience that is familiar. But yet the stories are just different. It's not wrapped around Walter White. It's about Saul Goodman, Jimmy McGill. And so I'm able then to enjoy it from a fresh perspective and leave it at that. And I tell all my friends, including Vince Gilligan, when I see him, I said, please don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything. I want to be able to experience it as a fan as opposed to an insider. So I see it pretty much the same way you would see it, fresh. And I enjoy it. I like the show a lot.
Hello. I would like to know, what do you think? Do you think the Hollywood 10 changes something in Hollywood industry?
Do I think the Hollywood 10, sorry, again?
Do you think, what did the Hollywood 10 changing something in Hollywood industry?
How it would affect on the Hollywood industry now?
No, do you think that what they did changed something now? That it changed the things? What they did back then?
Has it changed things? Yes. You know, it used to be in those days that Hollywood was pretty much divided equally among conservative and liberal thinkers. That's changed dramatically to a heavily liberal-minded. But I think in general, creative people, it's not a rule, but and I have no bearing of any proof to this, but it just seems to me that by and large, more creative people happen to be more liberal, more accepting, more open to experiences or different ways of life and tolerant. And yes, I do happen to think of things. But what I hope changes in my country's politics is that right now we have a sense that if someone disagrees with you, that they're the enemy, and that's not how it is. We need to maintain respect and openness to a person's opinion who happens to be opposite of what yours is. That they also intend the best things for their country or city government or whatever. It's just that they have a different opinion of how to go about it. And I think it's wrong to categorize someone who disagrees with you as an enemy, as a villain. And that's what's sort of become the structure in American politics, and it's really ineffective and unfortunate.
Maybe last one more.
Hi. You said in that story there are not good persons and villains, but only victims. Do you think it's possible for the audience to have the same feeling for someone like Ada or John Wayne, and someone like Robinson or Elia Kazan? Robinson and Elia Kazan was just a weak person, but Ada Hooper or John Wayne was very convinced by their ideas. Do you think it's possible to have the same feeling about all that person?
I do. I think in retrospect, when you look back at that period, and of course now we have the benefit of time, and time has healed these wounds considerably. At the time, I must confess, I may feel differently if I was in it, if I was directly victimized by the blacklist, of course. But in trying to look at it objectively and in a positive way, what was the benefits that came out of it? I would think that everyone would have a right to make amends. Some of the people who testified and named names went to their graves without apology, and okay, that's all right. Some did apologize for their activities and how they cooperated or with the investigation. To me, it had, the whole point is that Dalton Trumbo could have lied on the first question. And the first question was, are you now or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party? He could have said, yes, I was, and it was a decision I made when I was a young person, and I was foolish. And the committee would have said, all right, we'll accept that answer as long as you disavow the American Communist Party from here on. Yes, I do. I disavow. Okay, that's fine. But unfortunately, the committee doesn't stop there. It insisted on you answering the next question. And the next question